Kai,
For this DC fifth grader,
wake up.
the day's lessons start well before he makes it to school.
Make sure you guys brush your teeth.
Kai Corbett's parents play drill sergeants,
You know, I spent 20 years in the Army.
making sure he understands the importance of being on time, presentable, and buried in the books before breakfast.
Got 100% on my test, but that was just usual.
In this household, education is a top priority, but Kevin and Satira Corbett say it's not just about being well-read.
The more we thought about it, we knew that Kai needed something else.
She says Kai was bored, not challenged, and needed culture. His old school wasn't making the grade.
You know, we asked about, oh, what's the Black History Month program that we're doing? We want to be involved. And they were like, well, no, we really don't want to. We don't do Black History Month programs because we want all of our kids to feel comfortable.
So they sent Kai to a startup school for black boys in Southeast DC. Statesman College Preparatory Academy opened late last year for 4th through 8th grade.
How are you, sir?
Richter Craig is one of the founders of this public charter school.
Public school systems are not set up for boys of color to be successful.
Black males are least likely to graduate from high school in DC, according to data from the Superintendent of Education. Only 68% of black boys graduated last year. Craig says his team spent years conducting research and interviews in the community to find a solution, and they discovered boys began going down the wrong path between 4th and 8th grade.
Boys of color are just dissed. They're disengaged, disenfranchised, discouraged. They get dissed every day.
The educators are applying what they've learned here, starting with the program to make sure students and families have the necessities before class, like supplies, clothes, and a haircut. In the classroom, most teachers are black men.
Most of them don't have father figures, but they need to know how to conduct themselves. They need to see black men in great professions and not just on the street.
The school day always begins with a matchup.
9 times 9, Solomon.
Craig says part of their research revealed boys are fueled by competition.
Because they were in TPs, I'm thinking about having a TP competition.
That's why it's a prime part of the curriculum for teachers, down to the scholars battling it out to earn their desks and neckties.
Life is a competition. You're gonna fail a bunch of times, but equally you shall succeed.
Waiting for 100%. 3, 2, 1.
There are the usual English and math classes where popular black culture is infused to help students better understand the lessons.
Who wins? Who wins? Who wins? Ready?
History class is a different story. They call it Kings 101.
You're coming in this class to learn how to be a king.
Black history is the standard, starting in Africa with stories about kings and queens, veering away from the traditional history lessons.
The setting point is always someone who's a slave. Like that's the first person that they almost always see in history books.
This class forces boys to see the future differently.
Tells them where they come from and who they can be.
Ms. Harris's class was fun.
With 135 students, there's a push to keep them active. There's even required reading between classes.
Children love to move, and it's mandatory that we have it in every lesson so we can keep them engaged.
3, 2, 1.
However, sitting still is just as important. With one-on-one mindfulness sessions each week, they practice peace and properly expressing themselves through meditation, yoga, and drawing.
A lot of boys have fits at my school, and they know how to stop the fits.
Craig says only 2 students were suspended last year. Statesman teachers say the way black boys behave is often misinterpreted and is where the disconnect begins.
Their moments of emotional discomfort are often feared. So they're deemed as special ed, or they need to go to the ISS class because they might do something, and it's usually the same thing. They're just a bigger kid with the same tantrum as a child of a different race.
What room is this?
With one full year down, there have been tough periods. Shortly after opening, 3 of the 5 original founders parted ways to work for national school organizations. Craig says they had to assure students and families this school isn't dissolving.
Some of them are coming to us broken. We can't be broken too. We cannot be broken too.
Academically, many Statesman students started behind grade level, and after the first year, about 70% of the student body made modest gains on district-wide testing, according to data from the city's Department of Education. Now they're focused intensely on the students still struggling. The Corbetts admit they had reservations about sending Kai to this new school.
It's done, it looked good on paper, but I wanted to see, some tangible results.
Now they're convinced this is the right path to prepare him for the real world.
When you walk out the door and turn on the TV, you know very much that you are considered a minority, and you know very much that there are some things that are stacked against you. So it really is kind of like a retreat for a few hours a day.
Good morning, Kai. How are you? Good morning. How are you doing today? Good. Awesome. It's a wonderful